what?
I'm very excited about tonight's topic.
I'm with it. Now you're gonna have to drive the ship, like I said, because I could try. There's some topics out there I got, but yeah, some of those courses I didn't know.
You got this, because both of us, we're going to talk golf course architecture.
I'm with it.
None of us are obviously architects, but as much as we love the game, there are certain things about certain golf courses that you just like. And tonight we're going to talk about why you like those things.
Very true.
That's easy.
Very true. I'm all for it. Yeah. And anybody can relate to that, right? Golfer or non-golfer. Anybody can relate to that.
I go back to a time when my granddad first taught me how to fish. I was probably 4 years old. And I kept getting snagged at the bottom of the lake. I'd get a twig or hook up to a tree. And I would say, Papa, how do I know if it's a fish? And he just looked at me. He goes, when it's a fish, you'll know. And it's so true. You do know.
Isn't it? Oh, yeah. Yeah.
When I look at a golf course, someone says, well, what's a bad design? What's a good design? When you see a really good hole and you just stop and pause and you're like, that was a good hole.
That's beautiful. You may not even be able to describe it immediately, but you just know, like, that was a good golf hole.
Yes.
Yeah.
I may have hated it because it kicked me in the rear. That happens more times than not.
Because you might have made a 5 or a 6. You might.
You never know. So I wanted to go through, and we can make this a 2-part series. We can make it 3-part. I could.
There's a bunch of designs out there. Oh, a bunch of risk reward. Oh, a bunch of styles. Yeah.
We're going to get through what we can get through in the time that this 45-minute or whatever Zoom has us on.
Cool. I was about to say, I thought it was 45, 30 or 45. It's like we're always under an hour, I think.
Okay.
I know that.
We'll cover I put down 3 architects that I want to talk about. And, well, really 4, but 2 of them are father-son. Robert Trent Jones.
Oh, yeah.
Senior.
Oh, yeah. Very familiar. Oh, yeah.
Junior.
Yep.
My personal favorite, A.W. Tillinghast.
Wow. Okay.
And there's a million reasons why. And then, the man, the myth, the legend, the OG, Alistair McKenzie.
Okay. Yeah. That's okay. Gotcha.
And we'll talk through a couple of these guys' courses. The first one right out the bat, right out of the gate, Robert Trent Jones Jr.
Let's do it.
Chambers Bay.
Let's do it.
Chambers Bay.
That was Chambers Bay. Wow. Okay.
Chambers Bay. I'm going to share my screen. And
as of now, my only major venue, Chambers Bay.
Oh, you should come to Texas, man. We'll fix that real quick. We're going to cover a public course at some major venue in Dallas.
We keep saying that. I keep saying, and I'm going to do it. It's not even an option. I'm going to do it. And now that's, is that 17? I'm trying to remember. That's Chambers right there. Is that elevated par 3?
Yes. It is 14 and then 15.
Wow. 16. Look at that view. I mean, there was some magical views out there. Whatever people say about Chambers and the condition of some of the lies or the putting. There was some magical views that I don't know if you'd see those anywhere else, honestly.
And what made it really cool is one day I was playing out here, and the time when we made this trip out, Tim, I really made good friends with the pro. So anytime I'm going out there, I'm like, hey, Zach. His name's Zach Keener. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. I don't want to get him in trouble. I'm like,
why would you get in trouble? That shouldn't get anybody in trouble.
Hey, Bob Johnson, I'm coming out to Chambers. He's like, man, just come on out. We'll take care of you. And the last time I was out there, it was almost 90 degrees. And so Carlos was with me. If you look right back behind where we are, you can walk down there and you can go for a little swim in the bay.
Oh, yeah, right in. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Fantastic.
Wow.
That's another magical moment, too, to swim in the Puget Sound. But here's what I like. This is a quick video here. This is links golf at its finest, and these types of holes are brilliant. I missed the green. I short-sighted myself. Here it comes.
Now, you played that beat on purpose?
I played that on purpose. I walked up there. I saw how tight it was, and I was like, that's coming back if it goes past it. But do you see where I couldn't have stopped it short if I had tried? Because there's a hump right there.
Not a chance. Exactly.
And that's what a good design does, right?
That's part of course design, right? Where it's not just always grabbing your wedge, kicking it short, and letting it roll. No, you've got to factor in. You've got to look at where can I put this? Where is it going to roll out? And that's part of it that we all dig. Exactly. Not every time you play is going to be the same. That's awesome. Nope. That's awesome.
I was listening. Another architect we'll talk about are some of the more modern guys in another episode. David McClay Kidd, Tom Doak, the guys that did Bandon Dune, Dunes, Core and Crenshaw. But David McClay Kidd was talking about number 11 at Bandon Dunes on this podcast. I was listening to it today.
Okay.
And he said it took him 3 different seasons to figure out how he would design the holes with the wind.
Wow.
What the north wind would do in the summer, because up there, the summer, the prevailing wind is a north wind. The south wind is the winter wind. And he said he designed number 11 that in the summer, it plays driver 6-iron, 7-iron for an average low handicap golfer.
Okay.
In the winter, you can drive the green on a windy day.
Wow.
He said he has hit 3-wood into that green.
No way. That type of disparity, type of, and it took him he spent all that time thinking, okay, this is, wow, that's detail. And that's detail. That's wild. Wow.
And what's funny is the whole time he designed the first course at Bandon, and Kaiser, the guy that owned it, he said, you're going to make bogeys. He said, I want you to make birdies and pars, but the first bogey you make, I'm firing you and I'm hiring another architect. Because he was only 26 or 27 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, is this what hole is?
I think this is 15 at Chambers. And you can't really see because my arm's in the way, but do you remember that bunker is like 6 feet deep and only about 5 feet wide? They call it.
I actually do.
They call it the devil's something.
Yes, I remember that. I do. Because I almost remember saying, Tim, if you're going to be short, you can be short. Maybe there's a chance to get out of there. But I said, if you're left and you're in that, there's no chance.
No chance.
It's just no chance.
It's just such a great hole. So many different options. Putting isn't one of them, but there are some really good links par 3s where you can putt. What do you think about holes like this? There are some of these at Arcadia as well. I call them the corridor holes.
It has an Arcadia feel, almost. It does have a bit of an Arcadia feel, no doubt about it, no doubt. What is that? Angelo just cruising on the ground right there?
That's what I was about to say. What is he doing?
Was he tired of walking? I don't. We'll have to ask Lo on that. I wasn't in you guys' group. What? I thought we didn't tee off together. Beat out at Chambers Bay once.
I don't think we did.
I thought I was in you guys' group. Maybe I wasn't. Because I would have thought you guys got me on with Angelo being, one of the few guys I knew at that time. But maybe, and that's how I met Los. I thought I was in you guys' group at least the first day. Maybe not. I don't know. But
I know you played Dan Madden, maybe.
Either way.
But this
from a standpoint, that hole, does it curl back to the right, B-Dot, or is that the green right there, and I just kind of can't make it out? Or is this
it was a little foggy or hazy that day, but right here, you can't see it. This is Olympia National Forest.
Wow.
Where you have snow-capped mountains that go into the ocean.
Wow. How cool is that, right?
That's not found many places on Earth.
No.
In this green,
but Steve said it best. Golf is such a beautiful game, but you almost don't enjoy the view sometimes because, you're demanding yourself, right? You're in it, you're grinding, But golf will give you some of those picturesque views on the planet, and just sometimes you don't enjoy them, right? Because you're just so frustrated or, not having a solid round. So for me, B-Dot, I love a hole or a golf course that allows me to have a bit of a risk reward. Don't make it too don't force me to go one way, right? I like an option if I can to be able to, this side or this side. Don't force me into just this. And those are the type of holes that I really like. If you kind of give me an option, not too much blind stuff. I don't like a lot of blind stuff. Here and there is okay. But those type of holes I really like. If you give me a couple of options here and there.
No, and that's why I love Chambers, because they had, I think the hole after the one we were just looking at, maybe it's a couple holes, and maybe it's 12. It's a short par 4. And if you remember DJ and the guys in the U.S. Open, they were hitting those sling and draws in there and landing it on the green, and it was like a bowl, and the ball would funnel back.
Oh, I remember that. Yes. You could almost, I think the caddy told me, Tim, if you go way left here, it's just going to funnel on right down. Yes. And, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, man, it just doesn't look like it, but you got to trust the caddy, right? He knows the drill. And I'll be darned, you put one up there and it just funneled right on down that bowl. Yep. Yeah, I know just what you're talking about. Yeah.
I got a question for you then. So this is same designer, Robert Trent Jones Jr. What does this look like?
Well, if I had to take a stab, I'd say good old the last major that was just played. I mean, to me, just that view right there with the colors, that to me looked a little Masters-esque.
I'm telling you, they call this like the Alabama Augusta. It's called Ross Bridge. I mean, just an if anyone has not played this golf course, it's like $70 to play.
What? What is the track called? I'm sorry, you may have said it and I was talking. I apologize.
This is Ross Bridge in Montgomery or Birmingham, Alabama. Cost about $70, and that's like the most expensive of the Robert Trent Jones golf trail. So you can start in Birmingham, you can play Oxmoor Valley, you can play Ross Bridge, you can go down and play in Opelika at Grand National, you can play the Judge, the Legislator. The Judge is like 8,100 yards from the tips. I think this one is 8,300 yards from the tips.
Wow, wait, 83?
Oh yeah.
I've never seen a course over 74, 75 B, I don't think.
Stupid.
83. Now, I don't want to use the word gimmicky. Is there a lot of elevated tee boxes that cut that yardage down a bit? I mean, no.
And the fairways don't run out. I mean,
really?
No one really plays it that far back, although you're stupid did. Chris Chappelle's like, give me on the back tee. Give me on that back tee. And if you break 80, man, you're playing. But
is every par 4 a 3-wood in? I mean, give me the par 4s.
I'll give you an example. There's a 3-hole stretch on the Judge, which is only like 8,000 yards.
Okay.
Where we played 3 holes in a row. We played a 721-yard par 5.
Come on, B.
I blistered a drive, and the thing said you have 395 left to the green. So now I'm teeing off on a long par 4 without a tee.
Right.
Right.
That's exactly right. That's exactly what that is. You have a par 4 left off the deck.
Next hole was
That's exactly what that is.
The next hole was 520 uphill par 4.
What? I mean,
the next hole was 262 to the back pin, island green par 3. I
mean, B. Now, what were some of the scores? I mean, you guys parred out. Somebody had a bogey. I mean, come on. That's not. You know what I'm saying? That's just not an easy stretch. I'm
going to tell you something, and you asked me, so I'm going to tell you. We didn't set this up. I shot a 75.
Wow. On 8,000.
It may have been one of the best ball striking rounds I've ever had.
It had to be.
I just couldn't get there sometimes.
There's a par 4 off the deck. I mean, I'm just trying to think of that if I've ever really been, and I don't think I have. I've never been 420 out after a smoke drive or off the deck.
I hit 320 yards and I had 400 yards left. Stupid.
Wow. And the 520 uphill par 4, you got there in 2?
No, I bogeyed. But here's the thing. It's a real economical golf trip. No. It's always good. And here was my question. I think you reminded me. Do you prefer like point and shoot golf? Because these courses, bent grass greens, bent grass fairways, you hit it on the green, it holds.
Yes.
There's your target. You hit it, go on. Or do you prefer hit it out there, let it roll, hoping it doesn't go into a bunker, and then never go at the pin, directly at the pin like links golf, hit it to the hump that's going to push it to the pin? What type of golf do you prefer?
I will be honest, B. Dot. I enjoy, and this doesn't translate to my game, so please don't laugh. I enjoy more of the hitting it up and letting the course more or less take it to where it's going to go, because for me that's more creativity. You know, with the point target, if you will, golf, right? It's your number. It's 168 out.
Yep.
You hit that. You know it's going to kind of stick if you put a good one on it, and you're good to go. The other style, you know, you could still pull off a great shot, but if your strategy is off, it's not going to happen, right? So I really appreciate that creativity where I've got to kind of look all around the fairway, all around the green, and see where it might be best to put it, as long as it's not gimmicky. You know, that's kind of my word of the night tonight, as long as it's not video game type gimmicky. But if you give me a fair shot at really putting it somewhere and it's going to roll up there or kind of slide on down, I'm all for that, bro, because that just gets my mind thinking, man, the whole 18. The whole 18.
You're reminding me of a course that is kind of a little bit of both. Arcadia Bluffs. We talked about it earlier. Number 11 is a 610-yard par 5 straight down the hill to Lake Michigan.
You're staring into the water, right? Yep.
The fairway is like a funnel. You can't really miss it. The ball rolls forever.
Yes.
The first time I played it, I got right in front of the green in 2 shots.
Okay.
But there was a hump, and the pin was just on the other side of the hump, similar to Chambers Bay.
Oh, yeah.
And I looked over to the left, and I saw a huge wall on the green, and I was like, I bet if I hit it up that wall, by the time it comes back to the hole, it's going to be slowing down because it's going back uphill.
Right.
Cozied right up next to it. And
wasn't that a fun shot to hit? A fun shot to think about? A fun shot to execute?
To hit,
right?
think about, and then to actually see my thought. Like, it's like a painting on paper. And you're like, it worked, you know?
Right,
like,
Exactly.
I know this sounds super dorky, but I felt like if the architect, and I can't even think of who built or who designed Arcadia. Maybe it's like Robert Trent Jones Jr.
I should know who designed Arcadia. I don't know.
But I just thought if he was with me right now, he'd say, well done, son. that's what he saw.
That's how this was designed.
Okay, so here's a place you've been. Can you name this course?
Is this is going to be Spy, isn't it?
It is Spy, and it's Robert Trent Jones Sr.
Okay.
1966.
Wow.
You can see a lot of similarities to Chambers Bay on some of these holes now that I look back and see maybe how he inspired his son, especially on some of the green complexes. This is hole 6.
Wow.
I don't know if you remember this, but all along, can you see my pointer here?
Yeah. Oh,
okay.
Yeah. I'm trying to make it come back to me.
You have to kind of, like, the green's over here, and the fairway is very narrow, and you just decide how much you want to chomp off.
Yes.
And then the green looks like the letter I. It is just like that.
I remember it. I swear I remember it.
Oh, my gosh.
Yes.
Maybe the craziest green I've ever seen. You can play shots. It'll go up, come back down, come back up, and then roll.
I know just what you're talking about, Beat. My dad had a chip above the green, I think top right-hand side, and we didn't know how he was going to play it, because it was like, dude, where do you land this to just let it slide on down and roll down? And he pulled it off. He got something on the green, I think. But I do remember that. It was the most uniquely shaped green I think I had seen. That just little sliver eye. That's all it was. That's all it was.
Exactly what it is.
Wow.
And those type of experiences, man, I know. We're talking about Spyglass, one of the greatest courses. In fact, my caddy told me, you realize that we would already have 5 majors at this golf course if we weren't next door to its big, ugly brother.
He specifically used the word ugly. You can tell there was a little bit of dislike in there.
I think he just was saying, Pebble's always going to get the attention.
What was one of the first things I think I told you, B, on one of the first podcasts we did, and I was coming back from the Pebble trip, obviously, and I said, for me, B, with the mystique of Pebble and all that obviously speaks for itself, and who you're enjoying it with, but I said the demand of Spyglass, right? Not saying Pebble's easy or anything, but the fact that you use every club in your bag with Spyglass. every shape, shot shape you got, the draw, the fade, the high, the low. Your Spyglass calls for all that. And Spyglass should have a couple of majors by now. It definitely should. Definitely.
I'll never forget this day.
I hope it does.
We were playing in the Pro-Am, and I had this guy, Andres Gonzalez. He plays on the PGA Tour, sometimes the Web.com Tour.
Okay.
And, or Corn Ferry Tour. I sound like my granddad.
I actually call it the same thing. Nike Tour, Web.com. It's been
the hardest hole on that front side. I think it's number 8. Maybe it's like a uphill, really tight par 4. The green is like a little dot and it's slanted, and I hit a 9-iron in there. Literally, Tim, I was 2 feet below the hole.
Wow.
And he walks up to me, and Andres Gonzalez, he's a big guy. He's got like a mullet, and he has like a mustache that goes all the way down. He's hilarious. He walks up to me, and he goes, "Don't leave it short." So I putt the ball, and I leave it short. And take it, and I look over at him, and he goes, we walk off the green. I'm mad. I rake my ball away.
You were 2-3 feet beat out? Really? 2-3 feet out? Did I hear that right?
It was 2 feet. It wasn't even 3.
2 feet. 2 feet
I leave
out.
it short, straight up the hill. I walk all the way up to the next tee box, which was a par 5, and I look back, and that sucker is still on the green going. He's just letting me have it with the nonverbals. We had so much fun that day. But, and that night, we're all having dinner, and some of the other players are coming by, and I can't remember who it was. It was another pro, and he goes, "Hey, this guy hit it to 2 feet on 8." He was like, "Dude, give me." He goes, "Left it short."
See, he didn't have to share that part of it, right? He could have just left it at the 2 feet, right?
He's all right. He could. When you do that, you deserve it.
Oh man!
You want to guess where this one is?
Now, oh man, this is this Spy as well? No, it can't be.
No,
I have no idea.
This is Robert Trent Jones Sr.
Wow.
As well. It's just up the road. This is Olympic Club, the Lake Course.
Oh, okay. They held the Open in just a couple of years ago.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. Wow.
Man, that was when I was doing push-ups. Look at those pecs. I didn't do push-ups again.
I was getting in shape for the Olympic. So that's Olympic right there.
It's in Olympic shape for Olympic Club.
Wow.
This course is straight up maniacal.
Way more difficult than Spy and Pebble, and it's a torture chamber.
It's harder than Pebble for sure.
Okay.
Visually, lengthwise, it's not as intimidating as Spyglass.
Okay.
Here's what's hard about it. This is a perfect example of what it does. Do you see this hole is a dogleg right?
Got a little left to right on it. Yes, sir.
And some more than this, and some, the fairway severely slopes right to left.
Okay.
But the hole slopes left to right.
Wow.
So you always feel like you're fighting the golf course all day.
Wow.
Here's another one.
That's by design. Wow. That's got to be wild.
You kind of feel tilted one way, and then the green goes another way.
Right. That's wow. That's got to be wild, and I can't imagine that. I really can't.
And all day long, if you're going to hit on this, if you're going to keep it in the fairway, you have to play a cut into this shot.
Wow. So it's a cutter's golf course, as Angela likes to say.
But the next hole goes as a dogleg left, but the fairway slopes to the right.
Wow.
So you got to hit a draw on the next hole.
It makes you play, almost everything you got, right? Yeah. And that's the fun of it. That you can't just sit back all the time, right, and just bomb it and straight, and you're going to be okay. You've got to think about the shot that you're going to hit. I love that. I love that.
I was playing customer golf. We played the white tees, and I looked, and it was like 6,200 yards.
I wouldn't have guessed that. Be you and the gang. You guys don't play the white.
I was there with an investor who's a friend, but they all wanted to play the white tees, and I was like, I'm not going to complain. So I'm looking at 6,200 yards, and I'm like, I'm just going to do it. Smooth stroking 79. Never had a chance to shoot a low score. I bogeyed. I bogeyed myself to death. I think it was a par 70.
Wow.
Green
Yeah, I
weren't
don't hear
that
you say
bad.
79 too much. I mean, that'd be phenomenal for me, but I don't hear you say 79 too much. So,
Well,
wow,
I wasn't, and I was playing really good. And I
it's just
walked
for
off,
big
and he was
numbers.
like, "Yeah, that's frustrating golf course, isn't it?" And I was like, "Yes."
Yeah, I
But
mean,
it was a great
wow.
experience. It really was.
But it is reward. I mean, if you hit the right shot, though,
Oh
it's
yeah.
rewarding. Okay, yeah, that's another thing for me, man. If I hit the right shot, let me have the right play. That's huge for me. That's
So funny
wow.
you should say that. And I didn't tell you. I didn't plant that one either. Hit the right shot and it works out for you. That is our next designer, A.W.
I
Tillinghast.
love.
Little bit about him. He always said that a par three, the collection of par threes are what make a course great.
Really
Interesting.
unique
Uh,
take. Very unique take.
he was born in the late 1870s, and so he hit
Wow.
his stride like no. He was born almost in the 1900s because he was a young man when he was in his prime. In the roaring 20s, imagine this, in the 1920s, he was
100
maybe
years ago.
30. He had already earned $1 million designing golf courses.
And back then, I mean
It's like
I
$100
can't even
million
calculate
probably.
that. Yeah, I don't even know what that would be today. Yeah, I mean that's pretty phenomenal.
I
No
bet he was
doubt.
a hundred millionaire. He
Hell
lost
yeah,
every
easy.
red cent,
That's
everything. He drank it
wow.
away. He,
Really,
went
just a
and
partier, just
he was a
all
big
day.
partier, spent it on friends and women and whatever else. And so the USGA gave
Grab the
him a
best of us.
job, and they put him on a course tour, and he went around the country and did his thing to over 200 golf courses, I think. So you'll see his name
Redesigning or
on
just
a lot of courses that he just redesigned or added his green complexes to, and then they put his name on it.
wow. And he would help out there, not just the part threes. He would help out on
Everything,
and
everything.
everything. That
And his famous quote was, "Golf course should be 18 inspirations, and they don't necessarily have to be thrills."
I like that. I like. Is that
I
not
think
the I like that.
he
I like
did,
that.
and I looked up. If you've never played a Tillinghast design,
I don't
um,
think I have. I don't
there's
know. I don't
two
think
in Michigan:
really. Name them.
Pine Lake Country Club near Pontiac.
At Pine Lake.
Uh huh.
I should be familiar with that one.
It's
I
near
don't. Maybe it's one under a
Orchard
different name.
Lake or Orchard something.
Say it not because Pontiac has a Crystal Lake, which got changed to Pontiac Country Club, but Pine Lake.
Pine
Okay,
Lake Country Club, and then one near Grand Rapids called Sauganash.
dang, I don't think I know that one either. I don't think
We-
I've heard of that one either.
Weekend field trip, Tim.
Yes, yeah, me and Angelo and Bass, we're gonna have to get on this.
But
We're gonna have to get on this because Pontiac is 20 minutes from my house, bro. That's nothing.
well,
G-Rap is that's a trip going to see sis at college. That's about 2 hours, but yeah, that those aren't bad. Wow, I got to get on that.
well, this is sort of one of his
That's you,
masterpieces.
right?
This is me at Bethpage. This is the black course.
Wow,
He actually did
wow,
all 5 golf courses at Bethpage State Park.
wow, dude, wow. Wednesday through Sunday, like so, or did you guys play 36 one day, or
I've only played the black and the yellow, although the red is just as good as the black. But when I go,
really?
I went with Kirby and Chappelle, and so I probably played the course 5 times because I'm obsessed with it. I love it.
Wow.
But
It's a
Chris,
bucket list for me. Best pages, yeah, it's a bucket
and it's
list.
accessible. Anybody can play
Exactly.
it. But Chappelle and
Exactly.
Jackson, we went out there. We parked at about 10:30 that night. We had Dunkin' Donuts, Red Bull, everything you could think of.
I love
We
it.
sat in that parking spot until 5:30 when the little man came out.
Wow.
He gave us our ticket. We were only 6 tee times or 6 parking spots, and you get your
Because how
ticket.
does it work? B? Lay it on me. You can't call instead of tea time like a regular chap, right? Like it. So how does it work?
So if you're out of state, if you're not a New York resident, because it's a state
Right.
park, You basically can either go through a concierge service where you're paying $300.
Okay.
Or you can go through the lottery, which you may or may not get in. And if you have a small window of a trip to New York, then you're hosed.
Right.
So they have 6 parking spots right there in the front dedicated. And let me tell you, we got there at 10:30 on a Thursday night because we tried to play a Friday morning, and we got the last spot.
Wow.
And you can't park your car and leave. You got to stay in that car. Or you can some people had, it was a beautiful night. Some people had those pop-up beds and they just set them out behind their car. And it was just a big party. Everybody's hanging out and talking.
That has to be so cool. You're there for one reason. You know why you're there. I mean, I got it equated to like my Pebble experience. Everybody knows this is such a journey for everybody. That's got to be so cool, kicking it with cats in the parking lot that you'll never see again. But you all know why you're there, and you're just having a good time getting ready to tee off. Did you know that you had to get there that early, B? Had you done a little bit of research? Because you could have got there at midnight and not had a spot. You know, I mean,
I did some research, and the research said get there by 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock.
And we got there a little bit late, and darn it, we almost missed it. But unbelievable experience. And then the guy came out, and our tee time was like at 8 o'clock. So we had from 5:30 to 8. So we went into town and found a little greasy diner and had breakfast. And went out and handed them our ticket, and we were teeing off at Bethpage. Well, it's a bucket list for me. If the gang ever wants to go back, obviously you said, Chappelle and Curb and they did, but man, if some other guys want to do it and we've got that in the bag for 1 year, man, count me in. Because you want to go tomorrow?
I'll get there at 9 p.m. I'll sleep.
I'll go tomorrow. I'm in. You don't have to ask me twice. Love it. So here is another Tillinghast that's in Dallas, and I play this at least once every 2 weeks, and it's so much fun. Okay. And I've never broken par on this course. And
really?
I played it my entire life.
Now that's got to be a tough track, B. Give me why you haven't broken par, and I'm being honest because you're kind of right there. I hear 70s out of you, 70, all of that. So why haven't you? What's the course setup? Why haven't you broken par there? Playing it multiple times.
Hilly. You wouldn't expect it. It's very hilly. It's in a very, very dangerous neighborhood in Dallas. I'm just going to tell you.
Really?
And
not even joking around at that, huh?
It's very dangerous. Wow. Maybe one of the worst parts of Dallas, as far as crime goes, but a beautiful area. And,
really? Wow.
The head pro has really put a lot to restore it back to the Tillinghast design. He keeps the greens quick. He keeps the rough high. He keeps the rough around the greens. That's a Tillinghast thing, is the rough around the greens is really thick. So you go from rough this high to putting surface.
Wow.
Pop bunkers, deep pop bunkers surround the greens.
So he's penalizing you if you miss the green pretty bad.
And if you miss a fairway, then it's just a multiplier effect because you're not going to hold the green, and then you're going to end up in one of those tough bunkers or thick rough, chipping to a short-sided pin. You just have – this is a par 3 that's 198 yards, and I've played this course since I was 14 years old, and I'm 44. I figured out how to play it last week.
Wait a minute, B. That's roughly, give or take, a 30-year learning experience, roughly, give or take. And last week was the breakthrough. That's what
I figured out.
Not a 25-year-old at your peak, 20. Last week. What? Well, heck, let me just ask. Let me take the microphone. What was the breakthrough? What was the 30 years? Just in case I ever come down to see you guys and y'all take me here and I know what to do right out the gate.
So the last time I played it, I look back and I would recommend people watching who want to get better at golf, stand on the green and look back at the tee box wherever you play. Walk a course backwards and you'll figure out how to play it. So I told myself, I'm going to play Cedar Crest, and when I get to every green, I'm going to look back and figure it out. I got on that green, and what do I do every time? I either go short and go in one of those hellacious bunkers, or I land on the green and it rolls off the back because the green goes this way away from me. So I got back on the green, I looked, and I noticed if you land it about 160, the ball has to ping pong bounce because there's a steep hill. It's going to hit on that slope and it's going to roll. And then as it crests on the green, there's an upslope that will slow it down a little bit.
Slow it down.
So from 198 or whatever, I hit 7-iron. And it landed. I didn't even see where it landed. It was so short. And then I waited 3, 2, 1, and that sucker rolled right up on the green.
No, wait, so on its first bounce, it completely clears the bunkers. You said there were short bunkers, I thought, right? That
the first bounce, you don't see it because it's such a deep slope.
Okay.
It just tumbles forward, and then as it loses steam, you see it roll up on the green.
Wow.
And I turned around and I was like, that is such a good hole. Because it took me 30 years to figure it out.
I mean, any hole that takes you any type of time like that to really, really figure it out, it's a phenomenal golf hole, right? We don't want super easy holes. That's not why we're out there, right? Any hole that takes any type of time like that to really figure it out and know it, that's a great golf hole. That's a great golf hole.
And this is another par 3. And this is the thing. You ask, why is it so hard? It's a par 70 with 6 par 3s, and only one of those par 3s doesn't play 200 yards or more.
Wow.
2 little bitty greens. So this hole, the green is the size of my kitchen floor. My kitchen's not that big.
It's a tabletop green. It's just
and I'll say, for the first time ever in my life, I figured out how to play this hole.
What, last week again?
Last week. Here's what you
had a
do.
heck of a week last week, man.
It was boom. To play this hole, you don't hit the green
at all. That's the plan.
You play right in
that
here.
Mound in the front.
If you're short and right center, you can do any chip shot you want, and you'll probably make par because the green is so tiny. So don't bring this. This is double bogey right here.
Don't bring that, because right, you're probably not holding it at a bunker shot or that's.
Behind the green, it's just shaved and goes straight down. You forget about it. So
this is 2+. That's 2+, and you purposely land a little short just so that chip will hold, kind of funnel in near the hole, and you're good to go.
Good to go.
Wow.
So we got to play that in that course in 1927. This is a true story. Walter Hagen had to birdie the last hole to win the PGA Championship in 1927.
Wow.
He stood there in the 18th fairway, and he had his hair, he slicked his hair back. He didn't have a hat.
Oh, yeah. You have to see pictures. Yep.
That Texas sun was setting right in the background. He couldn't see. He turned to this little kid, and he took the little newsy cap off the kid, put it on his head.
What?
7-iron, this far, makes birdie, wins the 1927 PGA Championship. You can look it up. It's in the record books. Turns to the kid, takes a hat, and says, "Thanks, kid." The kid.
No way. That's a true story.
The kid took the hat, put it on, and his name was Byron Nelson.
Come on.
Go read Mark Frost, The Match, and he tells that story.
I've heard of that. Yeah.
True story. This is the other one here. I'll show you real quick. This is a public course in San Antonio called Old Brack.
Man, look, I got to get down there with you guys, B.
Tillinghast all over. Has the big bunker here. I only took one picture the day that I played it, but fantastic course. And let me list off real quick some of the other Tillinghast courses if you haven't heard of them.
Lay it on.
We talked about Cedar Crest. We talked about Bethpage. We talked about Brackenridge. Lake Merced, which is right there in San Francisco. San Francisco Golf Club. Stanford University Golf Club. Medina.
Oh, wow. Stanford? Wow.
Medina.
Tiger's old hometown? Okay.
Interlaken. Pine Valley. Baltusrol, the lower course. Wingfoot. Sleepy Hollow.
Wingfoot?
Inverness. Philadelphia Cricket Club.
Inverness? Dude, he's got to be a top 5er of all time, right? I mean, he's got to be top 3.
Top 1 to me.
Of all time. I mean, wow. Who else has a resume like that?
I mean, his name is on everything. And he's truly, he was ahead of his time. And I'll show you, there's some holes at Cedar Crest. If I say, Tim, hit it right over here, and you'll think, you're crazy. The hole goes that way. And your ball will land there, and funnel and roll right to the perfect spot. And then
just as it's supposed to do.
That was a good hole.
That's the deceiving part of it, right? I love that. I really do. I'm so interested in his theory on why he said a course should be defined by its par threes. I find that fascinating. I wonder just what he saw in that, why he felt that way, because I don't know if I've ever heard that. Be either from players or an architect, from an interview or something like that. I don't know if I've ever heard that.
I haven't ever heard that. And for me, par threes are kind of an afterthought, but when you have 6 of them and they're all bogey holes, that's what Kirby Jack said. I go, Kirby, why can't I break par at Cedar Crest? And he said, sucker, there's 6 par threes that are all bogey holes. That's a 76.
It's the truth when you break it down like that. Even in our little rinky-dink Rackham, which I'm sure you've played, 3 out of their par threes are over 200 yards. And they're not the easiest holes, man, for the regular type golfer. And when you don't play well at Rackham, I say it right there. I'm like, look, man, look at the par threes. You got 3
Donald Ross
right there for you.
That's a Donald Ross course. We need to talk about him too sometime.
Donnie's a good dude. Yep, Donnie's a good one out there. Yeah, no doubt.
So here's we know about Alistair McKenzie. He did Royal Melbourne. He did Cypress Point. This is Pasatiempo. Crystal Down, Crystal Down up in Michigan.
Oh yeah.
He did both the University of Michigan course and the Ohio State courses.
Wow.
But his last course was Augusta National.
Wow. Yeah.
And I was reading an article about him, and he said that this course was his favorite, and so he built his home out here.
Really?
So if you ever go to, and you will, because we're going to do it, to the Monterey Peninsula.
Oh, yes.
You go a little north into Santa Cruz, you play Pasatiempo, and it's the Augusta of California.
Wow.
All of the green complexes are basically straight up Augusta National.
Wow.
You get the speed, you get the slope. You can't tell on this hole, but even though this green is gargantuan.
Yes, it looks huge.
If they put the pin like right here, you only have about this quadrant to hit it in, or you're going to make bogey. If they put it over here and you hit it down here, you're dead.
There's no way. Right. Yeah.
That's what it looks like. 6 greens in one big green. That's what it is.
Wow. Is there tiers? Was there almost kind of tiers?
My gosh. I wish I had a picture of the 16th green at Pasatiempo, because from the bottom of the green to the top of the green, it's like a 40-foot difference. And
wow,
this is 130-yard par 3 or something.
Yeah.
And look at where they put the pin. So you have.
I didn't even see that at first. To be honest with you, I was about to ask you. I thought the pin was back right, because I thought it was like behind our faces there. Now I'm seeing it. That is tucked front, short, left. Oh my Lord! There didn't look like a lot of room. Where do you land?
This is a creek that comes all the way around.
Come back.
This is my friend Chris. He hit a beautiful shot right over the pin and right into the creek. But
beautiful shot. It was just tracking, and it's just.
I told you about the 16th hole with that green. This is the tee shot. And
wow,
it's so visually intimidating, because it looks like the hole kind of goes off to the right, but you've got to hit it right in here, and if you do, your ball will get another 50 yards.
I was gonna say, can you catch a slot and it'll just fire around? Okay. But if you don't, if you just at that top of the hill, that I bet you got like 222. That didn't look like a short hole.
No, it's like 450 or something.
Oh.
They also have, I didn't get a picture of it, a 420-yard par 5. Now it's switched to a par 4 again, but for years it was a par 5.
Really?
And
nothing, that would, in other words, prevent you from getting there at 2? Or was something set up very trickery or anything?
If you're looking straight away, the green is off to your left, and there's a creek that runs right through the fairway from left to right.
Oh, so okay.
You can't really carry that creek.
You can
with technology, but for years you couldn't get a ball over that creek left.
Okay.
So you would have to hit it straight, and the farthest you could go is maybe 210 yards. So you would always have at least 210 uphill into the hole.
Into the green if you want. Okay.
So,
Gotcha.
but now it's a legit par 4, and you can go for it left. And that day was into the wind, and I hit like 5-iron hybrid. And
Wow.
it,
Wow. 5 off the tee, hybrid into the green. Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
And then you just got a lot of tight holes like this where you can't really see what's on the other side of the hump.
That view. Look at that view. B, looks like you could just sling one in there right to left, kind of, or you could even cut one too. Looks like you kind of cut, but man, it looks like you could get over that right ridge there in the fairway there, and just looks like it would just run out on a draw. Wow.
Oh wait, there's the ball. I just saw the ball.
Oh yeah! Wow. Okay.
Now here's the thing about this hole. When I was playing it, I got up on the tee and I was like, Alistair McKenzie, this is number 11 at Augusta.
Wow. Yes. Very difficult par 4. Yeah.
You can't see the green. You're hitting, downhill. But even though you're hitting downhill, you can't see where you're going.
Wow. Is the green off to the left? Because at Augusta, it's off to the left, right?
Off to the left.
Okay.
Now, this is actually a par 5, so it's a little bit long. Actually, it's probably the same distance as 11.
Because I think 11's 5'10", 5'0", something like that for the boys. Yeah.
Oh, I would not play well there.
Oh, well, you would. You'd enjoy it, That's
that's the courses that I have pictures of. But I wanted to ask you, go through, because we're ending with Alistair McKenzie, and of course Augusta was his coup de grace. So, and that was the last course he built. When you watch the Masters, you're sitting there, you're looking at it. Like, of course, we just had the Masters a few weeks ago, and DJ runs away with it. But what are some of your favorite holes at Augusta, and why?
What? Okay. What are some of my favorite holes? I kind of like 10, I'll be honest. I like that slingshot right to left. I've always wondered why that bunker is out there kind of 60, 70 yards from the green. Because it's like nobody's drive ever reaches there, and obviously no approaches really get in there, but I never knew if they just put that there for aesthetics or what, But 10, I just like to see that ball just run. And 2, I love that par 5, because wasn't it just a couple of years ago, maybe 8 years ago, there was no front 9 coverage, right? We only had back 9 coverage of the Masters up until, forgive me, I don't know exactly what year. So we didn't get to see much of. So to see all of 2, to see the difficulty of 2, to me, where once again you got to hit that sling out there and then come into that green. So 2 and 2 and 10 for me right out the gate. That's all.
Did you love it?
I love 12 and all that, but
oh yeah,
2 and 10 for me, no doubt.
Did you love it when Cabrera and Scott had the playoff, and Cabrera hit his 3-iron past Scott's driver on number 10?
Yes.
That ball was probably so low. It's screaming so hard. And I have been very fortunate to be able to go to Augusta a couple of times and stand on that tee box. And, here's what I would say is people, before I went to Augusta, and I went the first time I went was when Jordan Spieth won.
Okay.
And people said, you won't believe how hilly it is.
That's all I hear. All I hear, B.
So it wasn't any more hillier than I had anticipated it being, because I had always heard it was
yeah, you were kind of thinking that, right?
What?
Right.
It's hilly. It looks in person, the flowers, the beautiful green, it looks just like it does on HGTV or high definition or home and garden TV.
I can't even be. It's got to look like heaven for a golfer. I can't even fathom it, bro. I can't. The
one thing that TV does not do justice, and that I just was not expecting, is the greens. I literally, I'm a decent golfer, and I would say that I'm a pretty good putter.
Yeah, no doubt. Your short game is legit, B. Hands down.
I was scared to death looking at number 1. That was the first green I saw.
Which hole? Which was the first green? I'm sorry?
Number 1.
Number 1. Okay. Yep. Got it. Okay.
And I was reading, I saw somewhere where they're like, on number 1, always go just short right quadrant of the green. You can make par from anywhere from there.
Okay.
But those number 1 has like a false front and then a dip on one side, then it goes up over here and back down. And then let me tell you,
wow,
you cannot even imagine how much slope. There are 4 greens on number 1 green. No joke.
wow. I mean, I remember the story, right? I think Tiger, he was an amateur, right? And he was playing with, I think, the defending champion Olafable, and he putted his first putt off the green, off one. This is Tiger Woods, right? One of the baddest dudes, a good college player, you know, and he putted it off the green. I mean, that should say it all right there, you know? That should say it all right there.
How many
So, wow,
tournaments
so
would Tiger have won if he could have
unreal.
parred the first hole? He always bogeys the first hole. Seems like every time he plays in a tournament.
11 is not a friend to him. 1 is not a friend. It's like, I don't know why Tiger just hit that cut up there and avoid the bunker and, you know, have 8 iron in or something. But you're right, that he gets off to a bogey start, man. It's like every other time, every other round, you know? So
the other green that is sadistic is number 6, the par 3.
The par 3? Is that the 231 B, 220, or is that?
No, that's the like 180 downhill.
4 is
the number 4 is the 231. That's not even Ben Crenshaw. I'll watch him hit driver into that hole.
Wow. See, because I thought since the tee box is a bit elevated, right?
So is the green. So it dips down and then it goes back up.
Oh, so it's a legit 230, 240.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Not like a 190 because we're up there. It's a legit 230.
It's all you can get.
And you're right, for Ben Crenshaw and them for that era, you know, they weren't bombing at 280. So that could have been a really driver for him into the wind or something.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
It'd be a heck of a par 3 for him. Oh, wow.
And, you know, I that's probably 4 and 5 are my least favorite holes at Augusta.
Okay. Okay. Why is that? 4 the par 3, 5 the par 4. Right?
I don't think 4 is a fair hole. I mean,
really?
I think they should play it like at 190 or 200.
Fair enough. Okay.
I mean, there's certain pins that when it's 230, you're just not going to get there. And you see people going short or long.
Yeah. And they take, what do they take? These 6-5 irons in there? They don't. The big boys now, they don't hit hybrids in there now, do they? I think they're taking hit irons.
No, not unless there's one day when we were there was a really cold wind right in there. That was the day I saw Crenshaw hit driver.
Really?
That hole was playing every bit of 250.
Wow. Wow.
So there were woods and hybrids getting hit on that hole.
Wow.
And then 5, a lot of guys have trouble getting to, I mean, they're hitting hybrids into 5.
Now give me 5 layout again, because I
know the forgotten hole at Augusta. That's the hardest hole. It played, I think, the hardest hole to par this last Masters. It's a
really
par 4. It goes down then back up a hill. It's a dogleg left. The green has all sorts of mountains on it, and
it just can't. It's sandwiched in between those 2 par 3s that kind of get more. I don't want to say more coverage, but I just more familiar. Yeah. I just can't think of 5 right now.
It's kind of off property a little bit. It's not like in the mainstream.
5, but it's the toughest hole there. It's the
toughest hole there. But what I love about Augusta, and I'm sure you may love this too, is just the funnel pins on Sunday and the way they can set it up for that drama. And
16, is there a better build up on 16 when a ball lands? You know, if they hit it right. And it takes that slope down, and we all remember Tiger's shot from a year ago, obviously. But there's been so many countless others. There's been aces, right? There's been aces in that build-up. And I don't know, B, we've watched a lot of golf, right? B, played a lot. Is there better – I'm going to sound so corny, but I don't care. Is there better roars? Is there better energy? Is there better juice than the back 9 at Augusta? No, they designed that so well to me with 13 and 15 eagle opportunities and then 16, all that. It's like they just knew what they were doing, where this is going to captivate people for 2.5 hours on the last day of a tournament. They knew exactly what they were doing, man.
It is so – that's the other thing that I didn't really realize. It is so wide open when you look at the first tee. You can see, so much of the course. And Jordan was really going, making birdies, and people were hollering and hooting and hollering and yelling. And you could hear – he made an eagle. You could hear that roar. And that's something that really struck me. But the coolest thing that I saw, and you think about the GOAT, and he's sitting there on number 12. And Tiger he's stepping up. He's got a 9 iron. He's about to hit. He looks at the pin, and then he turns around, and then he just stops. He puts the club back in the bag, and he's just standing there.
Yeah.
I'm like, hold on. Well, Charlie Hoffman, he forgot Charlie Hoffman hadn't hit into 11 yet, and Charlie Hoffman was golfing his ball. He was playing
balling. Charlie can go. Charlie can play.
He was in go mode, and he hit something really tight on 11.
Okay.
Right by the pin. Everybody started clapping, and Tiger knew, you know what? I don't know where that third ball is on 11, so I'm going to wait until I see it because someone may cheer right in my backswing.
Is that not thinking? Is that not experience, dude? Is that – man.
I got one – before we go, I got one more story that I heard. We all saw Bernhard Langer, do his thing at the Masters like he always does.
Doesn't even make sense.
I was listening to let's see, it was Padraig Harrington.
Patty, yep.
Was talking about the Ryder Cup when Bernhard was the captain. And I don't remember where it was or who was playing, but I remember they said, give us an example of what Bernhard Langer does, with his mind to give you an edge. And he said, oh my gosh, so many things. He said, but one thing he did won it for us. He said he went out early on and he walked every par 3, looked where the pins were, felt the turf and all that, came back, and he said it was Sergio and me, Patty and Sergio, in an alternate shot versus Tiger and Phil.
Wow.
And he said they get to the 16th hole and they were up 1. And so if they win 16, they're dormy.
Was this here, B? Was this at Oakland? Because when you said the Tiger Phil pairing, So this was Sutton versus.
It was in Oakland. That's where it was.
It was Oakland, yeah. Because
I remember watching this.
I think that one disastrous time. Yeah.
Don't remember watching this hole, but this is kind of what won the match for the Europeans, and I think eventually the Cup. Tiger got up there and was looking, and Patty and Sergio were hitting first.
Okay.
He said Bernhard comes up and goes, pitching wedge.
Really?
And he's like, the pin was in the back tier. And he goes, Patty said, I said, Captain, I can't get a wedge to that back.
I can't get back there, yeah.
It'll spin back to the front of the green. He goes, I know. Hit wedge. So
you're kidding me, B. Come on.
Okay. So he said, I hit a wedge all over the pin. It hits right in the middle of the hump, rolls all the way back down the front of the green. He said, then I look over, and Tiger was hitting next, and he's looking at me. And he looks back in his bag, and then he grabs the 9-iron.
No way.
Because he knew I hit wedge.
No way. This is not the gamesmanship that Bernard threw out there. No way.
He said Tiger hits a 9-iron right at the pin. It hits right at it and takes one hop and goes into the thick rough right behind the green.
Double bogey.
Phil goes over there and chips it right by the hole, and it just runs all the way back past where Patty Harrington.
Patty and Sergio.
Sergio lags it up that far, and they make par. U.S. loses. Match is dormy. Done.
Wow. Are you kidding me, B? Honestly, is that not amazing? That's how Sutton wouldn't have done that right now.
No, he said Langer. He said he knew.
That's why Bernard can make the cut at 62 or 63, at Augusta. The boy thinks every shot.
He knew that Tiger knew that he and I'm sure lofts were different, but Tiger knew if he was hitting a pitching wedge and couldn't get there, that Tiger didn't want to try to get his pitching wedge there.
Right.
And he also knew in order to hit the 9-iron, he would have to flight it down and hit it softer.
Right.
It wouldn't hold.
It wasn't going to hold. It was going to come in with more juice. Exactly. And he knew that rough back there and that chip coming back was going to be way more difficult than the chip that Patty and Sergio had. So he knew exactly what he was doing.
I'm so glad you nailed that because it was in Detroit. It was in Oakland Hills.
Yeah, well, and that's why when you said Tiger and Phil, I was like, I think that's been the only time, especially back then when they weren't, as good as friends. But that was the only time they've been paired together, and it was a disaster, right? The whole golf world knows about that. So, but wow, man, Bernard, man, that bad dude, man, bad dude, Bernard Langer, no doubt about it, no doubt about it.
Well, brother, this has been fun, man.
Oh, B, I always love it, man. Always. We got to start, man. Chappelle, Scotty, I got to get you guys on here, man. I haven't seen
at the poker house. I'm going to call him out. He's at the poker house right now.
We got to get my boy Curb on here. We've had Angelo. We've had Angelo's bro, Joe. We got it. Come on.
All
Come
right.
on, Chapin, everybody. Come
We
on.
need to get Gerhard on here.
Yeah, I'd love it. His birthday
right.
was just a couple of days ago.
We'll
We
do
had a
that,
good
man.
time
That'd
for
be
his
fun.
birthday. Yeah. So
All right.
yeah, I love it, man. Dude, if this is at least a once a month thing, bro, I'd love it. You know me. I try and talk about anything golf related, which is I love it.
Well, next time we get together, we'll video some of our round, and then we'll create a little YouTube round.
I love that. couple of shots, couple of chips that went in, couple of 20-foot putts. Yeah, I'm with that. I'm with that, baby. I like that.
Well, brother, you be safe there in Detroit. Bundle up.
Yes. Don't remind me, brother.
We couldn't have played golf here today. It's 29 degrees this morning in Dallas, but
what did it end up being by 3-4 o'clock?
50-ish.
On that note, be safe, be healthy, everyone, because we never got away from 29. It stayed 29 for us all day. I'll just leave it at that, So, but no, B, I love it, man. Be safe, be healthy to everybody out there, and yeah, man.
Tell my Motown peeps I said hey, and I'll do the same in Texas.
You know I will.
All right.
All right, brother.
Signing off.
Yes, sir.